Okay,
Force
start with
Awakens.
Force Awakens. Let's go with the marketing first.
That was perfect.
Ooh.
It was perfect. Like I
Yeah.
don't have any complaints there. Like the first teaser trailer, uh the feels, man. Like when you see the Millennium Falcon and then Chewie we're home. Oh man, like they nailed that.
I mean, I just have to say, all the trailers are what got me into editing.
Really?
That was why I started editing, was because I saw those trailers, and they just made me feel some type of way. And I'm just like, I want to be able to do something like this, or be able to do this, be able to tell an expansive emotional story in 2 minutes. It's everything I could have imagined from a new Star Wars film. Just from the trailer, I was like, hell yeah, this is gonna be amazing. I remember, I think I pre-ordered my tickets the day I saw the first trailer.
Oh,
and
wow.
I never did that. I don't think I ever pre-ordered. I don't even pre-order games. Like, even when I was a kid, I never did that shit. And that was when I was like, dude, I have to make sure I get a seat, because everyone's gonna be buying these tickets. So I gotta get a seat with like a friend or two friends, however many seats I can get. And I'm pretty sure like Force Awakens is the only film that I saw like over 5 times in theaters.
In the theater? Wow.
I think I saw it at least like 6 or 7 times.
My God.
The film, I think everything before that was always like once, maybe twice. And Force Awakens, I just went back with everyone to watch it. Like my girlfriend at that time, my friends at that time, people who've never seen Star Wars before at that time. Like, I was taking everyone to go see that film, because it was a good kind of like introduction, but also addition to the fandom. So it was like one of those things. It's just like the magic of Star Wars. And then, we can get into what happened later. But as far as the marketing standpoint goes, it was genius. What do you think, Kat?
I agree. And kind of to echo what Zach was saying, like the feels. And I, as someone who, being 9 years old, didn't go see Revenge of the Sith in theaters, that would have been like the only time I would have gone to see a Star Wars film like in theaters. So I had never seen a Star Wars movie in a movie theater. So that was The Force Awakens to me, like that is the nostalgia of that experience, like being able to like go and see like the rebirth of Star Wars happening on the big screen with today's technology, and just the excitement of like, oh my gosh, like this was just the first of 3 new movies we're getting. Like that's the highlight of that experience for me. And no matter how I feel about like the sequels, like I always am so just like, I loved that. I think is my favorite sequel viewing experience, probably, like just the rush of like, oh my gosh, this is happening, like we're watching Star Wars and it's like brand new.
I remember sitting in the theater and when the crawl came up, I think that was when I realized that Star Wars it's something else. Like I've never felt like that in the theater before. Like I was like almost moved to tears, because like the crawl was happening, and it's like I never thought I would see another Star Wars movie in theaters again. And I obviously was too young to like really appreciate that it was Star Wars when I was in like 5th grade and Revenge of the Sith came out. But yeah, that is like my favorite part of the sequels. Like you said, is just that initial, oh my God, this is happening, magic of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, going back to the trailer, I think the line that, like, I think the first time I saw it, I was just like freaking out. Like I think, I don't really know if like any cinema aside from Star Wars actually like makes me tear up or break down.
Really?
But I just, I really don't think anything else. I mean, like obviously I feel things, but
You ever watch Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, no, that doesn't do it for me.
Good.
Like I love them, but
Good.
I'm not gonna like watch those and like tear up or be like, wow, it's just something. Maybe it's because I've been so immersed in Star Wars like almost my entire life, pretty much. That it just has like it's something different, as Zach said. But anyway, the lines that I remember in the trailer when he said like the Force, the Jedi, and like those cuts, and it shows Luke's hand, and then he says they're real, dude. I just remember seeing that like the first time, and I started like, tearing up and bawling and just like this is so cool, dude. Like holy shit, like being a Star Wars like nerd or whatever is gonna be cool now. Like it was just one of those things where I was like, now it's mainstream again. Now everyone's gonna be talking about it. Now it's like you can be that person that talks about it and not be like, oh yeah, Star Wars, oh yeah, that thing from 2006 or whatever. Yeah, like well, when's the last one come out? Yeah, that kind of thing. Now it's all back and everything, and I was all excited about it. You can only imagine what could have happened if almost anyone else was behind it, but
if they were good.
Yeah, but I mean, then again, maybe we wouldn't have gotten the trailer, and the trailers itself are gems. You know, like those are things that I can just rewatch over and over again, and feel like that's what Star Wars is, and then watch the movie and then feel a different way. But, anyways, we'll get into now. I guess, what did you guys think of, like, I guess the title crawl, like of what how it compares to like other Star Wars films? I know there's like a lot of critique around like how it was poorly written and lazy, and also just like, you know, into the whole kind of revamping of A New Hope, into the whole whatever, if you think that that's a good idea, that was a good idea or not, or if they should have just completely started where George Lucas was talking about, starting off with like the whole wills situation, how it was going to dive more deeper into the Force in episode 7. Yeah, so you guys have the floor.
I'll let Zach take that.
I think they had regarding the, like, should they have rehashed A New Hope, basically. I think it's easier in hindsight to say that they shouldn't have, but if you think back to, what was it, 2015 when it came out? Like, everybody, like, a lot of people hated the prequels. They were probably spooked into wanting to try something different because the prequels did that, and look how that turned out, or so they thought. So I think it was much more of a tough decision to not rehash the originals versus doing something that was virtually the same thing, but like with a shiny coat of paint. So I never really faulted The Force Awakens that much for doing it, because it did generate a lot of excitement in Star Wars. Broke records, reduced Alex to tears. I mean, it did all the right things, but I more so take umbrage with what came after it. Like it set a lot up and it didn't follow through. But I'm not a huge fan of the rehashing, but I understand it, is basically my take.
Yeah, I don't know. I must just be stupid. And I always say this in like my reviews or whatever as a disclaimer, but like when I am actively watching a movie, my brain just like doesn't draw connections like this feels like A New Hope. Like I didn't feel that when I was watching The Force Awakens, and which again maybe speaks to my like stupidity and lack of ability to draw connections and realize these are the same thing, or like this is a cookie cutter format of this. But for me, like I feel like the sequels, and kind of like what Alex was saying, you know, trying to either bring something new, like I feel like the sequels, to me at least, I feel distinct. The originals have their own vibe, the prequels have their own vibe, and like the sequels have like their own feel to me. Like I never looked at them as like this is a cookie cutter, they're just trying to redo, like. And I think, you know, I think my fault is like maybe I look online and see people's like reviews like this is exactly like A New Hope or blah blah blah, but I don't, initially I didn't feel that way. They feel very different and like their own to me, and maybe that's just because they are made in a completely different, you know, time with all new technology and visual effects. Like it could come down to that, but I have always felt like they had their own kind of vibe, I guess, for lack of a better word, like to me at least. I know that's not the case for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely had their own style and their own vibe, but it was more of like, it's more like what we're talking about, like the plot, you know, being very kind of like it's a cookie cutter, simple, almost lazy, because they knew that works, so they're just going to do that. I mean, granted, there's a perspective where I look at it like they kind of are reintroducing the whole world of Star Wars, and that's kind of a good cop out for it. But if you're going to do that, at least, you know, follow a formula of like where the story is going, instead of, you know, just figuring it out on the spot all the time. Which is like seemingly what they were doing. Because I remember after The Force Awakens, everyone was like, "Oh, like it's forgiven. You're just reintroducing Star Wars to everyone, bringing everyone back together, like in the same way that Star Wars has always done." It was just like, if you're going to bring back like if you're going to bring back the Death Star, but only this time it's going to be something that destroys multiple planets. You know,
It's bigger.
It's like it's like cool, but if I don't like another thing is like if you don't like the characters, like that whole premise just falls flat anyway. Like I think if A New Hope, like if you hated all the characters, I feel like that whole like it's like you don't really care if they win or not, you know.
Yeah.
The whole rebellion winning was like such a cool thing, such a big thing because you love all the characters and you're rooting for them, and you just hated Tarkin. You hated, you know, I don't know if people hated Vader. I think they were just scared of him, and they just think, how are they going to beat him, you know? And then when they beat him, it's like, oh wow, cool, you know, he's floating away in space away. I wonder what's going to happen in the next one, you know. Whereas this is just kind of like, let's just copy that, but be lazy with our writing and not really care about character development or explanation for why things happen.
So I will say that I do agree with you, but I think for the first like half of The Force Awakens, honestly, like I was into it. Like the beginning of the movie where Kylo and his boys roll up to like Lord Santeca's village, that was sick. I was like, yeah, this is awesome. And then
the blood was kind of weird though.
The what?
The blood.
Oh, the mask.
Yeah.
I mean, I know why they did it, but like I just feel like the whole blood thing, it's like aren't like, you know, you're not.
But you have to know who he is.
Like he didn't get stabbed.
I know he got shot.
He got fucking shot with like an ion, whatever, a blaster.
Gonna cauterize immediately.
Cauterizes the out of all that shit. So I don't know. That was just what it's like. What did he like stab himself afterwards? He's like, fuck this.
Where's the
identify yourself. No, but like I thought it got off to a really good start. I was down with Rey. Probably I was on board.
I loved Rey till the end.
I didn't like. I kind of fell off the wagon when they went to Takodana and saw Maz, and like everything after that, it was like pretty much okay. So this is the end of A New Hope all over again. Like, but I was kind of like Kat. Like the first time I watched it, I wasn't really thinking about it analytically. I was like, oh my god, this is Star Wars. Like, I'll watch.
I think everyone was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then like the more time that like I put between the original viewing and then like I just got to stir with it, I was like, that was really similar to A New Hope.
Actually.
And like building off what you said, you liked the movie, dude. Like I said, all the Harrison Ford stuff. Like what's crazy to me is like Harrison Ford doesn't even really like Star Wars. You know, he just does it to do it.
He doesn't like anything, dude.
And well, I know, but the fact that he like is like probably the most likable character in that entire movie is really a testament to his acting ability.
Yeah.
You know, like I think, you know, Lucas really lucked out with who he casted. They just happened to be powerhouses, you know. Unfortunately, I don't think they came around this way. I like John Boyega until the sequel, until the episodes after. I loved Poe until the episodes after. But it's like, you know, I guess it's just at the end of the day, it's just potential what could have been. But I think overall, like no matter how good the script was, I think that the actors aren't powerhouses like the powerhouses that they lucked out with in the original trilogy.